Hello, internet friends. Today we're talking about where things are going to go in this upcoming year under the general heading of embracing grind. Now, I, as a young person, was in general praised too much for being good at things, which is something that many people my age are afflicted by, who showed some promise during their early academic careers, where all of the praise was heaped upon, oh, you're really good at this, you're really good at this, you're really good at this, which makes us profoundly averse to being bad at things, which is really unfortunate because if you want to do anything worth doing, anything that involves a serious amount of skill, you have to begin by being bad at things. And if you're doing something that is a creative act, that means creating bad artifacts. Like you have to make stuff that sucks in order to learn the domain well enough to begin making stuff that doesn't suck. And there's a pretty common pattern when you get into some new domain of human experience that you have some easy sort of newbie gains. The difference between knowing nothing and knowing something is very great, no matter how small the something is in comparison to all there is to know in the domain. So you go very quickly from being able to accomplish nil to being able to accomplish something, right? And so extrapolating to the future, that trajectory, it seems like, oh, very soon I will be masterful and wonderful and great. But soon all of the sort of low-hanging fruit has been picked, and you have to engage in something that was first introduced to me during my young career as a middle school wrestler. I was a sportier person in my youth. As embracing the grind, which is simply a long, oft unpleasant slog through a period of time where your skill seems to completely plateau. You don't actually seem to meaningfully be getting better with each outing, but over the course of a sometimes extended period, you actually lay the foundations for a relatively rapid rise to the next plateau in skill. So you sort of start off and you're going up, and then you plateau, and then all of a sudden you hop up to a new skill level, and you have to you start the grind over again. But you start the grind over again from a wonderfully elevated position where you're able to produce something with greater merits. And this applies to pretty much all domains that I have personally wandered into. It seems like you're getting really good really fast until it stops. And then you have to just spend a long period of time doing the work to lay the foundation for the next sort of qualitative jump in ability. And this is especially important in a number of domains of human life. Weight loss is one of those things where if you decide to start losing weight, you'll probably lose, 5% of your body weight very, very quickly. And then all of a sudden the losses slow down, and you have to spend a lot of time building up good habits, good exercise regimes, etc., etc. And then suddenly a large amount falls off at once. At once being, over the period of 3 to 6 months. But many people get discouraged when they hit that first plateau, when the easy rewards stop. They stop getting that fun cycle of like, I make an effort, I see immediate progress, I get that dopamine hit. When they get into the period of time when there's not a clear-cut reward that can cause the brain's endogenous reward processes to deal out the sweet, sweet dopamine, people get discouraged, and that's where people fall off of basically any sort of endeavor. Super also important for sort of the practice of being a happy human being, because when you first start, if you haven't been attending to your well-being, there's going to be a lot of great opportunity just immediately available to you. You can cut out some of the most pernicious negative cognition, you can cut out the worst of your habits, you can start making some efforts towards maybe your diet or your exercise or other caretaking behaviors in addition to the cognitive stuff, and you make a tremendous improvement in your day-to-day experience sort of right out the gate. And then you can hit a period of a long slog where it's like, I'm putting in a lot of work and things aren't actually getting obviously materially better. And in some cases, you hit some nasty backlash events or something stresses you out, things can appear to be in the short term getting worse. Because you're paying attention to things that flew under the radar before, and it can seem like, oh, there's a lot of challenges going on in my life that I wasn't really cognizant of before. This seems really hard, and it is. But you make the sort of steady effort, and you make this almost imperceptible incremental progress where all of these little pathways are being laid in the mind that very suddenly can open up a qualitatively different experience for you. But you have to embrace the grind. You have to accept that the plateau is a normal and natural part of the acquisition of any skill, and that even in the absence of clear and obvious wins, successes, rewards, you just got to keep going. So that's the sort of big picture topic. In the short term, what that means for me is a change to how I engage with video making, because I think I'm outside of my newbie gains at this point. Like, I can produce a product that is, well, it's not good, but serviceable. I know sort of the dimensions, the levers that one could pull in order to improve the video quality, but I tend to get into a space of sort of like, oh, I don't want to set all this stuff up and do all this work and like the pre-work bogs me down. So, in an effort to embrace the grind in the upcoming year, what I want to do is, well, simultaneously lower and raise the bar, right? So I want to do 2 to 3 videos a week that are sort of off the cuff, short little things like this. Occasionally, maybe I'll be experimenting with different little pieces of tech here and there. And also, once a week, do something that is aspiring to raise the bar a little bit on the content that I produce. And I will not hit that goal. But that's another thing about embracing the grind, is that once you move out of sort of that newbie territory, right, it's really important when you're in the newbie territory to set easily attainable goals, so you get yourself in that cycle of getting a reward immediately. But when you are in the period of embracing the grind, you want to set your goals a little bit more ambitiously, with the understanding that the goal is a target by which you can measure yourself, not something that you are intended to fully attain. If your goal is easily attainable when you are embracing the grind, then you haven't set it high enough. You're not demanding enough of yourself. So that's where we're going in the new year. We'll see how miserably that goes down in flames. But, the joy of practice is that life continues to afford new opportunities. So that's where we're headed.